Hi everyone, Marches here. Welcome to the channel. And for today's video, I'll be comparing two of the newest signature sneakers out from Nike, which is of course the PG5s, and from Jordan Brand, which is of course the Why Not 0.4 for Russell Westbrook, and this one is for Paul George, in case you don't know. So if you're planning on buying one sneaker and you're choosing between these two, I hope this video helps you out. So let's go. First up, let's talk about the materials or the upper of the sneakers. Of course, the Paul George 5 has mesh upper with some synthetic leather all around the sneaker from the wings and from the heel, while the upper of the Why Not 0.4 has more varieties in terms of materials. It also has mesh, but different types of mesh, and there's a lot more fusing. And there's a ripstop material here on top, which adds texture to the upper of the Why Nots, plus some suede at the back and nubuck. So there's more variety of materials for the Why Not 0.4. But in terms of performance, the support that you'll be getting in these two sneakers are pretty much the same. Both have very supportive upper, especially on the areas that you need support, especially around the forefoot part, around the wing, around the midfoot. Both have very good support around those areas, giving you a very good lockdown feel, especially on the forefoot part and midfoot part of the sneaker. The difference that I'm seeing right now is of course the shape of the upper. If you're a wide footer, the Why Not 0.4 is better for you. It has more toe space compared to the PG5, which is more snug around the forefoot part of the sneaker. And moving back to the sneaker, around the heel part of the sneaker, you can see the PG5 has a more minimal look to it, while the Why Not 0.4 has this extra TPU plate that is fortunately not too thick and it's not heavy at all. So it depends on the aesthetics that you like. If you want it to have more design, of course, the Why Not 0.4. If you want it simpler, go with the PG5. And as for the height of the heel, they're pretty much the same. And for the Achilles pillows, both have very nice thick Achilles pillows. And for heel support, there's an internal heel cup for both sneakers, and of course the cushion also goes up on both, giving you extra support around your heel. And as for the lockdown of both sneakers, I would say pretty much the same. Both have excellent lockdown and ankle support. And as for the height of the ankle, they're pretty much the same, although the Why Nots is higher by a centimeter. So that's the only main difference around the ankle part, but overall feel and performance, they're very comfortable around the heel and ankle. The Achilles pillows on both are very comfortable. And as for the lacing system, both have traditional lacing system. The PG5 thong is stitched at the bottom of the sneaker, while the Why Not thong is not, so it moves freely. And as for the padding of both thong, they're pretty much well padded. Both are very comfortable. It's very easy to put your foot in both sneakers. Now moving on to the midsole of these two sneakers, where the PG5 has a slight advantage in terms of support compared to the Why Nots. It is because of this phylon that's going up around the forefoot area, which are like mountains, and also one at the heel and also around the medial part of the sneaker, while the Why Nots doesn't have that. So it really adds to the lateral support of the PG5s, which I really like, especially when you're doing lateral cuts. It really holds your foot down to the footbed. Although the Why Not still has a very supportive upper, while this mountain design support that you can find on the PG5 really gives you extra responsiveness and no delays when you're doing lateral cuts or side steps on the PG5s. So slight advantage on that on the PG5. And now of course, moving on to the cushion of the PG5s and the Why Nots. The PG5 has a full-length air strobel, while the Why Nots has a double stack forefoot zoom unit, which is this size, this black area. So the main difference of the cushioning of both sneakers, the phylons are pretty much the same, but the phylon of the Why Nots is a little bit thicker compared to the PG5s. And for the forefoot feel of the cushion, the Why Nots cushion, the forefoot is bouncier compared to the PG5s. The PG5s has a very nice impact protection in the forefoot, plus the phylon is a little bit thinner all throughout the sneaker, so you're closer to the ground on the PG5. While on the heel part of the cushion, the Why Nots has a thicker phylon, but there's no air or zoom on the heel of the Why Nots. But for the PG5s, although the phylon is thinner, the full-length Air Strobel really gives you that impact protection that you need on the heel part of the cushion of the sneaker. So it really depends on your preference. If you want more bounciness in the forefoot, if your priority is bounciness, of course, go with the Y-Knots because it's bouncier around the forefoot. But if you're more into impact protection, especially on the heel, the PG5 is for you. But in terms of responsiveness, both have very responsive cushion. The only difference is this is closer to the ground, while the Y-Knots is a little bit thicker, but still has a very responsive cushioning. Now let's move on to the traction of both sneakers and the outsole of both sneakers. The PG5 features this spiral foot-like shape traction, while the Y-Knot 0.4 has this bead-like traction. And both of my sneakers are EP release, so these have XDR rubber, which stands for extra durable rubber. And I would say both have really very durable rubber and they're very thick, even though these are beads. A lot of you have been commenting in my video about the Y-Knots that these are beads, but the beads are really hard and I don't think it will fray easily. Even at the middle part of the forefoot where the beads are, it's really hard and I'm really trying to rip it off one part, but it's not coming off. So I would say if you got the EP version, which has XDR, you're pretty much safe in terms of the durability of the traction on both sneaker. In terms of the grippiness of the traction, both have very good traction in terms of grippiness, but I would give the PG5 more points on the traction because it grips harder by just a bit compared to the Y-Knots. I would still continue playing with these two, but so far for the PG5's traction, is a little bit better compared to the Y-Knots as of now. It has more squeak, it also bites harder, but just a little bit. And another difference on the outsole of both sneakers are the shape of the two sneakers, where the Y-Knot 0.4, which I like more because it has more curve, the heel-to-toe transition is better on the Y-Knots comparing to the PG5s, which is more flat. It has a little curve on it, but comparing it to the Y-Knots has a better curve and it has a decoupled outsole, and the TPU plate is bigger on the Y-Knot 0.4 compared to the PG5's TPU plate, which I think is smaller compared to the Y-Knot 0.4. Another difference on the outsole of both sneakers, the Y-Knot's outsole is a little bit more curved on the other direction compared to the PG5, which is flatter. Of course, there's a bigger lateral outrigger on the PG5, which gives you more stability on the PG5 compared to the Y-Knot 0.4. And I think it really depends on your style of play. So if you're more into running up and down the court, a speedy guard or a fast big, I think you would like the Y-Knot 0.4 better. But if your game is more of a shooter and you move laterally a lot, and you want to plant your forefoot quicker, I think the PG5 is better for you because it has a more stable forefoot compared to the Y-Knot 0.4. So if you're moving laterally, PG5, but if you're moving front and back, the Y-Knot 0.4. And as for the weight of both sneakers, the PG5 is weighing 390 grams, while the Y-Knots is weighing at 400 grams. Their weight are pretty much similar and they are on the lighter side. I was really surprised by the Y-Knots weight because it is usually a heavier sneaker from the 450 grams up. They really trimmed down on the upper, but not sacrificing on the support on the upper of the Y-Knot 0.4. And as for the sizing of both sneakers, regular footers go true to size on both, while wide footers go half a size up. But if you're a wide footer, I would recommend the Y-Knot 0.4 more because it has more space around the toe area. And as for the pricing of both sneakers, the Y-Knot 0.4 is more expensive by $20 or 1,000 pesos. This is 6,900, while the PG5 is 5,900. But if you're more in the budget, the PG5 is for you. But if you like the Y-Knot 0.4, you have to save a little bit more if you want to get the Y-Knot 0.4. So for my overall summary, the upper on both sneakers are very durable. But if you want more texture, of course, go with the Y-Knot 0.4. Both have very supportive and durable upper, but slight advantage on the durability of the materials of the Y-Knot 0.4 since it has more materials for the upper of the 0.4. The forefoot shape of the Y-Knot 0.4 is more wide foot friendly And if you want more lateral support, go with the PG5s because of these mountains that acts as lateral support. And as for cushioning, if you want lower to the ground, more impact protection, PG5s. But if you want more phylon and bounce to your forefoot, go with the Why-Not 0.4. In terms of the traction, both are pretty similar, but slight advantage on the traction of the PG5s. And like I said, if you're a player who likes to run up and down the court, so your motion is like this, Why-Not 0.4 is for you. But if you're a player who moves more laterally, the PG5 is for you. So I hope I helped you guys out with this comparison video. This has been Marches once again. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.